for being here today with me. And I hope that you will get a maximum of value out of the next minutes. I do not only work with affirmations, I also work with astrology. I became acquainted with astrology when I was 11 years old. Because my father also was very knowledgeable about astrology, and he knew my horoscope before I was born. So he had a clear idea about the person who was about to join him. And now I have completed half a century 2 weeks ago. And so I could say that it's about 40 years that I have been studying astrology and applying what I have come to understand. So I work with astrology, affirmations, and mudra yoga with this. Well, it is not something I've been taught, but something that I started to practice when I was 2 years old. Wow. And I discovered in my 20s that it's a technique that is taught, but however, I didn't find the postures that I used to practice most frequently. And this is why I'm going to publish a book about mudra yoga in my series as well, which is, well, why I publish a book per month in my book series on Amazon. Then I started last year because after the launch of my first book, Personalize Your Paradigm Through the Metabolism of the Mind and Cast Your Own Magic Spell, I realized that people get overwhelmed when there are too many topics in the same book. I'm still waiting for your questions. Anyone about affirmations so I can cover them? Yes, please.
Should I have the same one for like the next year, or should I have 10 of them at the same time?
All right, I will get to that.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else?
I'm curious. What do you think, if there is any associations between establishing affirmations and astrology? Like, I'm curious about your experience and your knowledge with this topic.
All right, I will get
It's
to
a loaded
this.
question.
No, it's an important question. You're perfectly right to ask. Anyone else?
Yes, two questions.
Yes.
Should it be in present tense or in future tense?
Always in present tense. I mean, that's a basic that you are told by everyone who talks about affirmations. Yes, I cannot know what. Yes.
Should it be something with a really high, not about your now, but more like in the future. Well, I will be.
It should be
great.
of your
I will be
future.
better.
It should be of your future now.
All right. So big, think big.
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's
it. Sure. Yes.
Have you ever heard of the concept of affirmations?
Affirmations. Well,
Formations.
I am sure that some people have elaborated on it exhaustively. I have not, but I can imagine that has to do with the fact that things take shape according to what we imagine. Is it true?
It's more the idea that sometimes you got the little bullshit meter in the back of your mind. When you say that I am in an affirmation,
Yes.
there's some part of you that's like, I don't believe it.
I
So what you're doing is asking yourself and telling your subconscious to go look for it. Kind of like you're telling Google to go search for
I see.
things. So you're saying like, why am I so smart and successful? And
Why? Oh yes,
it's just kind of it's just a little twist on it.
yes. That's a very practical approach.
Is it more of a talk or spoken word?
It can be both. And you're perfectly right to ask about thought and spoken words, because we do occur not only when we speak, but also when we think. And that's essential to accept. So I imagine that most of you have never heard of my father. because he was not a social media person. He did not even use an email.
Oh.
Though in the 70s and 80s of the last century, he used already computers. Because he was a sinologist, he created the terminology for Chinese medicine in English and in Latin, which is now the basis for all practitioners of Chinese medicine outside China. And he was a very private person, and he was known only to doctors and specialists. And it's, well, not a public person like a football player or an actor. Yes. And Bob Proctor was almost same age as my father. He was born 34, and my father was born 33. Does anyone know Bob Proctor or has heard of him?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So Bob Proctor used to speak about paradigms all the time. The paradigm is the mechanism within your subconscious mind that controls our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. And he spoke about the paradigms of the individual. And he mentioned that as well as every individual has a paradigm, also every family, every company, every community, and every country has a paradigm. And it's curious, he never elaborated on the final conclusion of this train of thought. It means that we have a collective paradigm. And that's why I dedicated one of my books to our subconscious collective paradigm that controls our behavior on a global scale. That means that, so does everybody know what a paradigm is? I think it's already quite common. So, and has anybody heard of our collective paradigm? Yeah. Yes. Yes, consciousness, that's already kind of
The dominant function.
yes, we have heard about that last century already. But the point is, we do not only have our subconscious collective, we have our subconscious collective programming. Which is why, on a global scale, so many things seem to go wrong. Why is that? It's because of our programming. So things do not go wrong because of the good intentions of well-intentioned people, but because we have a subconscious collective programming that we are not aware of. So what we prepare for is what we expect and what eventually we may get. This means that our leaders are preparing for conflict. They invest in defense systems, which means they expect things to go wrong, madly, and they do not prepare for more harmonious scenarios because they do not expect them, and so they do not prepare for them. And of course, this is an entirely different task, which Bob Proctor did not speak about, which he might have thought about, and so he left us with a lot of unfinished business. And this brings us to the metabolism of the mind. My father, prior to passing away 9 years ago in 2015, spoke about some of the topics that he did not have time to elaborate anymore. And the metabolism of the mind is one of them. Everybody has a metabolism. And we think of our metabolic function in terms of our physical digestion, how we assimilate food and nutrients. But has anyone considered that not only do we have a metabolic function that is within our physical body, but within our mind? We have to assimilate affirmations and information, because this is what nurtures our mind, and our mind determines our actions. Of course, Bob Proctor, he would like to speak about the subconscious mind and the body and how the feelings impact our attitude. But I think considering the metabolism of the mind is instrumental to understanding how we tick. Many of us are exposed to a lot of, information and advertising on a daily basis. We cannot escape it. We are bombarded by it. And the people who advertise know this very well, because our subconscious mind is helpless. It cannot evaluate. It cannot judge. It can only accept. And this is what it has in common with the infinite field of potential, the universe, however you may call it. It can only say yes. Whatever you say to yourself, your subconscious mind always says yes. When you tell yourself, I'm not sure, your subconscious mind understands that you are not sure. When you say, I feel very, very lonely, your subconscious mind believes it. So, I also released a book about non-stop meditation last month. And at the airport, I encountered a lady who had been traveling a lot, and she said she doesn't like meditation. And I can understand that the concept of meditation has been quite, distorted. Because many people think of meditation as something that they can do early in the morning before starting the day, or they do it once a week. And both solutions are not really adequate, because you will not stop eating for a week, would you? I mean, some people, maybe they have some extreme routines in order to conquer their own self, but we're not speaking about them today. And your mind keeps running non-stop, especially your subconscious mind. It assimilates affirmation every minute of every day, and that's why I write in my affirmations truly each and every moment of each and every single day, with each and every single breath you take. Because it does not happen once a day or once a week, it happens with every breath you take. And in India, thousands of years ago, people were very well aware of this, because our mind is connected to our breathing. And they compare the mind to a wild elephant because it's difficult to tame. And even more so nowadays, where we are violated subconsciously by the information that we receive without having requested any of it. Yes? And it is not called violation, but it is actually a violation. When you see some spots, they sink directly in your subconscious mind, and you have to process this chunk somehow. And so, the Act of Affirmation is a book that I released a year ago, because I felt that many people see affirmations as something a bit new age, something on the spiritual side. They didn't see it as something very practical. But the act of affirmation is an act of self-affirmation. And many people apparently think consciously that they can switch off their mind as they can switch off their computer. And they do not assume that it runs non-stop, even when they sleep, and all the more while they are awake. And Bob Proctor noticed very correctly that it is best to write your affirmations first thing in the morning. And he suggested to have a set of 10 affirmations, 5 affirmations for the things that you already enjoy in your life, and 5 affirmations for what you wish to accomplish. I would personally agree with writing 10 affirmations per day as a minimum, but I would not agree to write the same affirmations over and over again. Why? Because it does not stimulate your mind. When you write all the time, I am healthy, I am healthy, I am healthy. I mean, please.
Sorry, I was thinking like everything needs intention, isn't it? So if you put that love and that attention and that belief into it, you could do 1 really solidly.
Yes.
Or you could do 100 more.
That's right.
So I love that you said that. Thank you.
Well, I have developed a method of writing affirmations that is spread over my book series. So I modify each affirmation slightly to metabolize the content more thoroughly. So an example would be, I feel so happy and grateful now that I enjoy excellent health. So what is different from the affirmation, I am healthy? Can anyone tell the difference?
No, well, it's not. It's
Gratitude.
It is
You added gratitude, sorry.
gratitude, that's one thing. And the second?
You're more precise.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, we know that globally we still have a lot of analphabetism, which is very sad and which we want to overcome. And in order to contribute to the level of consciousness that we have collectively, because we are a collective, when you look at the planet from outside, it's a little dot in the space, we would focus on our own energy. So when you say, I feel so happy and grateful now that I enjoy excellent health, that's the basis. You would continue by saying, I feel so happy and grateful now that I always naturally enjoy excellent health. Or you would add, I feel so happy and grateful now that I absolutely love to notice that I always naturally enjoy excellent health. So you don't repeat stubbornly the same over and over, but you stimulate the metabolism of your mind. Because this is what also enables you to process all types of other information more easily. This is your metabolic rate that you can gradually increase and control more easily. Have you ever considered that education and entertainment are very closely connected? Education is all about programming. It's something that we learn how to do and we repeat it so often that it becomes part of who we are. The language we speak, the way we dress, it's all habitual. And entertainment, it seems to be lighthearted. But how often do we find ourselves humming a tune that we have heard somewhere and can feel it dripping into our subconscious mind? Education and entertainment are both instructional. So when people watch a lot of violent movies, this energy becomes more predominant in their subconscious mind. It may manifest in different ways. They may either express it themselves or they may encounter people and situations who express this energy. And we are collectively humming an idiotic tune of doubt and despair. Because we are not yet prepared to expect the best and to prepare for the best. There are so many people who are afraid of getting sick, which is what they eventually will be, because that's what they think of. And it would be much more reasonable to prepare to be healthy. Our metabolic function is relentless. And this is why daily affirmations can strengthen your mind over time.
You were talking about something that I agree so much, like how the subconscious, this thing that you're setting up, leads you to act coherent with that approach, right? But what about things that you don't expect happen?
You expect them
Yeah.
subconsciously.
No, but I don't expect. So you say I was expecting it, even if I didn't know it.
You knew it subconsciously. You may have not said it in words. There are some movies that you have seen maybe as a child, and then a few years later something similar happens. You didn't choose to think or feel into this energy consciously, but it was.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like people that go sick for some reason, for some tragic disease or whatever.
Oh, that's a good point.
And it's like, I was definitely not expecting that happens to me, for example. And getting sick for example, I got sick like a few years ago.
Yes.
And I wasn't expecting that,
Did they have an insurance? Maybe they have, or maybe not.
What is an insurance?
Insurance.
Like I know that.
They have health insurance?
Not
In
quite.
many countries in Europe and also in America, people have this type of healthcare, but it's actually programming people into believing that they are to be sick.
Wow.
There are so many medications. I personally haven't taken any medications for decades. I don't. I mean, I may sometimes get a little headache or yes.
Yeah, sorry. I was just helping you with the information of this specific example.
Yes.
There is medical insurance in Chile. I'm talking about Chile, the country where I work from. But in those times, the people who got sick didn't have any. So
They didn't have any.
No, so it didn't work as well.
Yeah, no, but I mean, there are different things. I think that, speaking about our subconscious programming, for some of these people, having health care is something prestigious.
Right.
Something prestigious. So on a subconscious level, they feel that when they get health care, they get to the level of prosperity.
Right.
That's something. I mean, I choose not to have any insurance.
All right.
Not because I couldn't have it, not because I don't want it, I don't need it. That's all.
Right.
Yes.
Something recently for me, yes, I'm up. It's just I love your take on it. I was very unconscious previously, but now I'm consciously aware of everything unfolding, okay, around me. But even though I'm still aware of it, I know that the collective around me, just for the circumstances I'm in,
Yes, that's absolutely possible.
are particularly rejecting their.
Oh yes,
Even though I'm aware of it and I don't feel like
Yes,
that's something that unfolded recently is now making me question
yes,
because of this the mindset around, even though I'm aware that I don't think the same,
yes,
how something that particularly has come up recently, which is something that they would expect to happen in my life. It's just very interesting now that I've changed my location and the people I'm surrounded by, even though I'm not entertaining those thoughts. It's just funny how something has come up.
yes.
And that would be exactly what they used to project onto me.
Yes, because it has been
So how do you get around
it has been seeping into your subconscious mind for a long time, so it has some roots there, and because it has taken so long, I mean, to become part of your programming, you have to work, I mean, constantly.
So I did see first round middle, but I'm just in a situation that now it's just personal, but maybe we'll speak later. But I'm just intrigued because I can see that unfolding.
Yes,
See that. So thank you.
So, thank you for your attention. I am available for any questions you may have today and tomorrow. I'm also available for coaching, though I do not really advertise it. You may have seen on my website, I share some of the services I offer, but I publish one book per month, so I can really serve everybody, even if I don't get in touch with them personally.